First of all, can you talk about the reasons that MEC and Max have converged?
The reason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some interesting stories.
Okay. I think the main reason, I think we have an opportunity on a global level where we have two companies within Group M portfolio who have complementary business and very focused on their local markets and local business development. I think from a WPP and Group M level, they are very much looking for a different kind of agency, a new agency in a modern world, and there's lots of reasons why this is important. One, the landscape media marketing has changed enormously over the last few years. We have much more connected consumers. Their ability to get information from different sources, the way they process information, make decisions about brands has changed completely. We have a much more fragmented media landscape in terms of communications. Digital disruption has meant that there has been a huge change in the way consumers consume media and consume messages about products. We are also in a position where we have much more pressure from vendors in direct sales. If you look on a global level, Facebook, Twitter, Google. If you look on a local level, BAT are very strong in terms and aggressive in terms of how they approach clients directly. And if you look at this, it's clear that clients are looking for a different kind of agency, probably more connected, more agile, more adaptable to the market situation, and able to navigate all the different forces that are changing the landscape. So when the opportunity arose, and this is why it isn't a takeover of MEC of Maxus, or it's not a merger of two companies and we just use those two companies in that base, but actually creating a new company, creating Wavemaker, that was the decision that was made that can basically bring together the forces of change, which are media, content and technology, and bring all of those together for our customers.
So basically I will do the translation.
Yeah, that's right.
那这个问题呢，就是为什么我们会有两家公司之间的这个合并啊？一家是上扬，一家是麦氏，以及呢，在这个合并的过程当中，有没有什么非常有意思的故事跟大家来分享？那 Gordon 的答案呢，就是我们现在首先呢，最主要的一个原因，我们就是在全球看到很多新的机遇。那其实呢，这两家公司大家也都知道，它是属于群益集团的。那这两家企业，他们自己的业务呢，本身就是互补的，而与此同时呢，他们又是非常的关注各自本地的市场以及商业发展的这个机会。那从我们更上一个层次来讲，不管是 WPP 或者是群益，他们的角度呢，其实也在寻求着一个新的、适应于现在全新的这样一种版图、全新的世界的一种不一样的我们的代理公司、广告代理公司。那我讲到了这个世界已经是和以前的是截然不同的。比如说呢，我们可以看到，在过去的几年当中，我们的媒介，包括我们的市场营销的方式呢，也发生了很大的变化。而与此同时呢，现在的消费者他也是更加互联互通的形式的一种消费者。比如说，他们有全新的获得信息的一个渠道，另外呢，他们做出的关于品牌的决定的这个方法呢，也是截然不同的。而与此同时，我们媒介的这个营销这个版图啊，也变得越来越的分化。比如说呢，在这样一个数字世界当中，我们可以看到消费者他现在做决定的方式也是截然不同的，不管是关于媒介的使用，或者是关于产品信息的这个获取。那么这一切呢，与此同时再加上全球我们会有很多的这个我们的供应商啊，或者说品牌呢，他们也面临着很多在直接销售方面的一些压力。比如说，在全球层面来讲呢，我们会出现像谷歌啊，然后像脸书啊，或者像 Instagram 这些公司在改变着消费者的行为。而在中国本土呢，其实大家也知道，这个 BAT 三家企业它也在改变着我们这个消费者做决定的一些选择的方式。那么在这样一个情况下呢，其实我们非常需要一家新的代理公司，它是充分的互联，而与此呢又是非常的有灵活度，而且呢对于现在的市场呢能够做出很好的适应。那么它呢又能够充分的利用我刚才讲的这些市场力量的这个变化。所以在这样一个背景下呢，我们可以看到两家公司之间它并没有选择一家收购另外一家的这种方式，而是进行了两家公司之间的合并。然后呢，我们创造了一个新的公司，就是我们 Wavemaker， 然后呢来更好的利用我们现在的这个趋势，同时呢能够更好的这个适应现在呢我们的这种变化。那么这家公司呢，它是一个集合了在媒介传播、内容营销和科技革命这些3个方面的一个很大的变化，利用这种趋势的一家新的企业。
Very comprehensive.
Can you introduce some new and surprising features of the new entity WaveMaker compared to the previous MEC and Maxis?
Yeah, I think it's important to stress that we had two very successful companies in China. In honesty, that isn't the case everywhere in the world. In other markets, maybe one was stronger, one not so strong. In some markets, neither were particularly strong. But in China, we have two very, very strong businesses. Overall, both MEC and Maxis over the last 2 years have grown over 25%. So, we have very, very strong base businesses. So there's lots of things that we're doing right in this market. So I think rather than introduce lots of new features, what we are looking at is, one, what works very well. And I think there's some key aspects of that. Our focus is very much on consumer journey and understanding how customers behave on their path to purchase products across all different categories. So this is important in terms of how we approach our business. Thing two is our digital and our analytic capability. So we are the most digital of all of the Group M companies, the most digital of probably all the 4A agencies. Over 70% of our business is digital. So that means that not just the work that we do is digital, but our entire thinking, our entire process as we think about the data, the technology we use goes into our planning and the solutions for our clients. So I think these are sort of like key areas for us, which I think are really strong. I think the other part, which is also important in terms of how we continue to build our business, is our strength with local business. So 85% of our business is locally generated. So this is much more than most other companies. We aren't a network business where we develop, our systems, tools, processes based on what happens in North America or based on clients based in London. It's all based about how our clients operate here. So from that base, what we are able to do by bringing together two companies like this is scale what we do. So the increased investment into more digital, more analytic capability, more strategic capability, more insight capability, because this is what drives our ability to deliver solutions to clients. So I think the biggest thing for us and the biggest game changer for us is the ability to scale what we do very well. So doubling the size of our operation obviously gives us huge benefit in terms of media, gives us huge access to more talent, more technology, and more business.
那么接下来一个问题呢，是不是可以跟我们介绍一下在这个合并之后，我们 WaveMaker 这家公司相较于之前的两家公司有什么新的不一样的，或者说令人惊喜的这些新的特点？那么国人的答案呢，就是首先大家一定要知道呢，我们这两家公司就是上扬和麦氏，它本来呢在中国市场就已经是非常成功的这个企业。那诚实来讲呢，其实我们看一下这两家企业在全球其他的市场上的表现的话呢，可能并没有那么的好。比如说在有些市场上呢，它是一家强一家弱，那在其他这些市场上，它甚至两家呢都不是非常的强。但是呢，在中国市场，我们这两家上扬和麦氏呢都一直这个表现都是非常令人喜悦喜人的。比如说呢，我们在过去几年 Maxis 就是麦氏，它的在中国市场的这个涨幅每一年呢都有差不多25%左右，所以我们可以看到这个合作的基础可以说是非常的强的。这是因为呢，我们在中国市场很多事情，我们两家企业都做得非常的对。所以呢，说到这两家企业合并之后，那我觉得有几个非常重要的一个地方，我们会继续呢做得非常的好，做得非常的成功。一个呢就是我们本来就在消费者决定，这个我们讲的这个消费者决策路径方面呢，就是非常的这个成熟和成功的。我们清楚的知道，当一个消费者从获取信息到最终做出购买的这个决定，整个的这样一个路径过程当中，他们是会经历些什么，而且呢，我们的这种洞察是跨越了各个产品领域，我们都是非常了解的。那么第二个优势呢，就是我们这两家企业的这个非常好的数字的能力，特别是数字分析的能力。那么其实呢，我们大部分的业务都是和数字相关的，而且我们可以说呢， 那么这个数字业务的比例是在群益集团当中，而且在几乎所有的4A 的这个广告公司当中都是最高的。事实上有it's 78%, right? 78% of business is digital.
70%.
OK， 我们有70%的业务呢都是数字业务，而且呢不仅是讲到我们的产品和服务是数字化的，其实我们在整个企业当中，我们的思维的过程啊，就是完全是这个数字化的，包括呢我们会用很多的这个数字的技术来帮助我们的客户做出很好的规划，同时呢做出一个决定。那么第三呢，就是大家要知道，我们很多的这2家企业来讲，很多的业务都是绝对是本地化的，以本地为基础的，我们有超过85%的这样一个本地化的比例。那么这个呢是超过其他的大部分的企业。我们和其他的这个广告公司不同啊，全球的广告公司不同，因为我们不是说我们的系统啊、我们的流程、我们的产品都是针对于我们客户在北美或者说是在伦敦的业务，而是呢完全的这个做到了本地化。那么在这样一个背景下呢，大家可以看到2家企业的一个合并，我们能够做的就是呢，能够更加成规模的发展我们的业务，而且把我们的优势呢成规模的放大。比如说呢，在2家公司的这个合并之后呢，我们会看到我们在数字能力方面，在分析能力方面，在我们的战略能力和洞察能力方面呢，是绝对是一个1+1大于2的这样一个过程，能够呢把我们的这个能力成规模的放大，这样帮助我们能够更好的做出一个决定。所以呢，我们可以看到，在2家公司企业合并之后，在我们的媒介方面，在我们的人才方面，在我们的革新技术方面呢，都会有一个规模上大大的提升。那么这就是合并最大的一个优势。
I don't speak too fast, right? Everyone says I speak too fast. Okay.
So, what's the market share of WaveMaker now in China? And so among your clients, as I know that 85 are local companies. So, from which industries are they?
The market share question is a good one because it very much depends on the on the criteria you use and probably how you measure. I suppose the only sort of industry benchmark that people use is something like RECMA, which is billings, so which would give us combined somewhere between 10 and 12% market share. I think it probably doesn't reflect completely our business, given that we are very sort of like digital and less traditional orientated. Which leads me to the second part of your question. If you look at how our business has grown over the last few years, the big clients that we've won and that have helped transform our business and our understanding, Huawei is obviously a hugely important client to us. Meituan is one of our biggest clients here. Working across all of their different lifestyle apps. Mercedes-Benz. So we have, these are the clients that are really sort of driving our business. And I think even for the multinationals that we have, the vast majority of them, they make their decisions locally. Beijing Mercedes-Benz sales. This is it's an international company, Mercedes, but really you understand automotive industry here. The decision making is very local, and they look for the right local partner for them. So for us, it's very important that we understand how China business is done. We understand how Chinese companies operate. We understand, their needs, in terms of how we have to service them. And I think we've been very strong at doing that in the past. And that can often be quite different to how multinationals work, in terms of the speed at which we have to work. Deadlines from a lot of our Chinese companies that we work with are very tight. Always very quick turnarounds, as you probably know. So we have to develop a different way of working. Be able to be very fast, very agile, and very connected as an organisation to be able to meet the deadlines and meet the requirements of our clients.
谢谢。那么这个第二个问题呢，就是我们这个 WaveMaker 在中国市场上来讲呢，它的这个市场份额有多少？那刚才呢 Gordon 也讲到，我们有85%的这个客户其实都是本地的客户。那么想问一下，他们主要都是在什么样的一些产业和行业啊？其实呢，他说你关于市场份额的这个问题啊非常好，因为讲到市场份额呢，不同的统计口径的话呢，可能会给出不同的答案。那大部分呢，在这个行业当中，经常会使用的就是一个收入。如果我们就是看这个营收来讲呢，我们差不多是 有这个占到市场的10%到12%左右。但是他说其实我们只看市场营收，就是那可能并没有办法完全充分的反映我们的这个整个业务的一个情况。因为呢，刚才郭林也讲到，我们这家企业呢，它主要是一家非常数字化的一家代理公司，所以和传统的广告代理公司呢是有所不同的。所以其实呢，这就回到了您的第二个问题就是我们可以看到，在过去几年呢，我们的这个业务在中国有快速的一个增长。那么这其实在这个增长的背后我们很多的变化呢，都是我们的一些主要的客户给我们带来的。包括呢，您可能也知道我们一些最为重要的客户，其中包括像华为就是我们最为重要的一个客户。还有呢，像美团呢，它现在也是有非常这个和生活方式相关的这个 APP， 很多的都上线了。还有呢，像这个奔驰等等。那么其实这些重要的客户，他们一方面呢，当然对于我们来讲是很好的这个客户，另一方面他们也是在促成着我们很多业务模式发生一个变化。那比如就算我们讲的很多客户是这个跨国企业，包括像奔驰但是呢，其实他们的本地化的运营当中做出的很多决定呢，都是要根据本地的这个情况，非常中国化的这些决定。比如说他就举个例子，像北京奔驰，那尽管奔驰它全球呢是一家跨国的这个跨国企业，但是呢它的所有的决定，包括在这个汽车市场上的决定，都是要根据中国的这个整车市场，然后呢会选择这个中国的合作伙伴。所以呢，在这个过程当中，我们就要充分的了解我们的客户的中国的业务，以及呢他们在中国的这个情况，从而更好的来满足他们的需求。那说到这个很多跨国企业的中国的这个子公司呢，他们其实和总部的这个运营是截然不同的。那么我们为他们更好的提供服务呢，就意味着我们可能需要有更快的速度。那因为呢，我们都知道这个中国企业它往往比如说这个最后的时间线都是给的非常短的，然后时间呢是卡得非常紧的。所以呢，因为中国的企业它这个周转率实在是太快了，所以作为为他们提供的这个为他们服务的这个代理公司来讲，我们也要足够快、足够灵活，而且呢，整个的公司、整个的组织要充分的互联，然后呢，才能更好的为他们提供服务。
有什么问题？
我想问一下，在过去的6个月当中，Wavemaker 为这个融合做了怎么样的准备？然后有没有遇到一些什么挑战？可以跟我们分享一下。
My question is, in the past half a year, you've been preparing for the merger to create Wavemaker. So, can you tell us the whole in this whole process? Have you met any challenges?
It's a long process. Anyone who says trying to integrate two companies is lying to you. There are always challenges. I think I think we've been quite lucky, in terms of having a lot of similarities as a company. Both being very locally driven, both being very, let's say, entrepreneurial. Because to build your business from the ground up, you have to be, and so I think whereas there's a lot of similarities, I think the biggest challenge for me is trying to bring a lot of very, very good client teams who have built businesses around the clients that they have into one sort of unified company, that all thinks the same way, works the same way, and and has the same goal. All of our client teams are fantastic, but they work in different ways because they've had to develop a way of working that suits the style of the client they have. So I think as a merger takes place, and as you try and create a new company, there are certain behaviours you want to instill across everybody within that organisation. So I think this is probably the single biggest challenge. We have a very complementary business. There are very key strengths, amongst the ex-Maxis people, particularly in sort of activation and execution. Because they turn over so many campaigns. If you work on Huawei, like brands like this, they're very, very strong in that area. I think what we have before in MEC is very strategic. So a lot of the tools, systems, processes, all of the insight and that level of data has come more from that MEC side. So I think integrating those things to make sure that we get the best of both of those sort of agencies for every single client we have has been most of the process that we've had over the last 6 months.
谢您的这个问题啊。其实呢，我觉得这个合并的过程，或者说呢一个合并的过程应该是一个比较长的一个过程。如果任何有人跟你讲说两家公司的融合是非常容易的一件事情哈，我觉得这个人肯定是在说谎骗你。所以呢，在整个这个过程当中呢，挑战总是存在的。但是我们非常的幸运啊，就是两家公司呢，它有很多非常相似的地方。比如讲，这两家企业呢，它都是非常本地化的。另外呢，两家企业都是非常具有这种企业家的创业精神的。因为呢，我们要从零开始创造一个新的公司出来呢，必须要有这样一种创业的精神在。当然了，我刚才讲说，尽管我们两家企业当中呢存在很多的共性，但是挑战呢也是无所不在的。那么最大的一个挑战呢，就是我们如何来融合我们不同的在两家公司当中不同的这样一些这个所谓的客户团队。那原来的这些客户团队呢，它都是基于每一个客户来这个形成的，为每一个具体的客户呢提供相关的服务。那么现在呢，我们要把它整合到一家企业当中，然后呢用同一种思维去思考，用同一种工作方式去工作。那么这个呢，可能就是最大的一个挑战。当然了，我要就是当然在这两家企业当中，本来存在的这些客户团队呢都是非常杰出的，只是呢他们有完全不同的这样一种工作的方式，因为他们自己面对的这些客户呢是不一样的，所以各自的工作方式呢也是适应着各自的客户。那么现在呢，我们就需要，因为我们现在需要创造一家新的公司，所以有一些行为呢，我们是希望新的公司当中的所有的人都遵守这样的行为和这样的价值观。那么可能呢，我觉得这就是一个最大的这个过程当中最大的一个挑战。当然了，这两家企业呢都是非常成功，然后呢又有很多互补的方面。比如说之前的这个麦氏就是 Maxus 呢，它是做得非常成功的，特别呢是在我们的这个激活我们的受众，以及呢在很多的活动的执行方面是相当成功的。因为你也知道，麦氏呢之前是为华为提供相关的服务，所以他们的执行力可以说非常的强啊，在这个短时间内呢可以推出很多成功的这个宣传营销的这个活动。而我们 Max 呢在我们上扬呢在这个战略方面又是非常成功的，包括我们有很多很好的这个内部的系统流程还有我们会产出很多的关于洞察的这个数据。所以呢，其实现在我们就是要把两家公司的这个优势充分的整合起来，然后呢带到新的公司当中。
其实有一个补充，就是刚才您讲到说公司是需要统一一个行为或者是一个价值观。那么我们看到其实有一些很熟悉的名词对我们来说，比方说是 momentum 或者是 pace。然后这两个其实都是来自于 Max 和 MEC 的 Maxus 或者是 MEC 的优秀基因。那么我想问的是，在此基础上 Wavemaker 会不会有一些新的，就是说不一样的，可能是战略方面或者是怎么样的一些新的东西？
Well, actually, I've got a follow-up question. You said that in the new company, there should be some behavior or some values that everybody can abide by. And as for that, I know that the two original companies, Mac and Maxus, they have very good genes like momentum and pace, etc. So is there something new, some new strategies that you would bring to the new company on top of that?
I think, for... so what we've done is again try and retain the best elements of what we have. I think the sort of behavioural and the values that the old Maxus had with Pace, I think are very strong and very I'd say very suited to this market particularly. Even though they're global values, they fit very well with what we are doing. I think, if I look at our approach to talent, particularly, which is probably the biggest challenge that we have in market, is finding people that adhere to our values and that can grow and and learn and thrive. I think this is the Pace values that we have are the benchmark for how we search for talent, how we develop talent. So that we absolutely retain. I think this is a slight tangent, but it is really important that the way that we've grown in the last sort of 2 years, both agencies, is by finding people to grow our business. If you consider, we are a services company. We don't create anything. We don't manufacture anything. Our sole value to our clients is the people that we have and the solutions they can bring to our clients. So therefore, having a very strong behavioural view on the talent we bring in and how we grow that talent is really important. Much more important than their ability to do a job is their attitude and their aptitude and their ability to learn and grow. Most of the reason we are going through this transformation now is not because we're a business in trouble, but because we're a business that wants to be ahead of the entire market. So this is a fantastic opportunity for us, and I'll keep going back, but our talent is the only thing that will differentiate us from anyone else. So I think this is this is something that will continue. I think what is different for us is as you when you're given the opportunity to create a new business, you can look at the environment you're in, you can look at the skill sets you have, you can look at the company you're in. And for us, we're very lucky to be part of WPP and part of Group M. You look at the infrastructure they have, and then you can build a team and a capability that fits within that takes the best out of that, and that can adapt to it. I think if you look at our development in, say, social media, in the last sort of 6 months, we've grown our social media team to over 30 people. Developing our digital creative capability, our social strategy capability, our social commerce capability, because to us this is a differentiator, and this is something that we will be able to take to our clients, and it can make a massive difference to their business. Now, the other element of that, going to your original question, is that I look at the opportunity now within our organisation. The diversity we have between in terms of media, our entire content business. 10% of our business is now content, from a base of under 1% 2 years ago. So the opportunities we have in terms of roles, in terms of learning, in terms of what people can do and what they're exposed to within our organisation has grown immensely. And to me, this is how we continue to develop, and this is what I think we bring, and how we really, let's say, behave our values. And I think this is probably the difference. I don't want Paste to be a poster on the wall. It has to be something that, from me downwards, absolutely everybody in the organisation believes in. And everyone in the organisation believes they can achieve everything they want within our organisation. So I think that is, the sort of attitudinal shift that we're going through, and the behavioural shift that we're going through.
好，谢谢您的这个问题。其实呢，首先您讲到的这个，我们首先要在两家公司合并之后呢，我们一定要保留我们原来所有的最好的东西，这些最好的 DNA。所以呢，您刚才讲到像这个一些行为上、一些价值上 ，Naxos 呢，它本来就有 Pace 的这样一个做法。那我觉得呢，这一块其实是非常好的，它是很强，而且呢非常适应我们中国的市场。尽管呢，刚才您讲的这个 Pace， 它其实是我们在公司在全球都有这样一个价值观，但是呢，它非常的适合我们在中国的市场。我们在中国所做的这个任何的这样一些业务。那么其实呢，特别呢，它是您可以看一下我们这个公司它在对待人才的时候一些这个具体的做法。因为讲到人才呢，它其实在这个中国市场上它是最大的一个挑战。我们如何呢要找到合适的人才，如何找到那些能够接受并且呢遵守我们这些价值观的人才，然后呢把他们带到公司当中来，让他们在公司当中成长学习，然后呢有自我的发展，这确实是市场上最大的一个挑战。而在人才方面呢 ，Pace 的无疑是最好的一套价值和行为的这个准则。它可以呢是一个标杆放在那边，帮助我们找到更好的人，然后呢进一步的开发和留住我们的这个人才。所以呢，我觉得可能会岔开一点就是跟您这个问的问题有一点稍微有一点岔开，就是在过去2年呢，其实我们这2家公司之所以能够不断的发展，就是我们呢能够不断的找到最好的人。因为我们说到底其实我们这个代理公司呢，就是一个服务类型的公司，我们并不会生产或者制造任何有形的物体出来。所以呢，对我们的客户来讲，我们最大的价值就在于我们能够找到合适的人才，然后通过人才呢为他们提供他们所想要的这个很好的解决方案。所以我觉得这个 Pace 对我们来讲呢，就是一套非常好的在人才方面的一个行为准则，然后帮助我们找到正确的人，从而呢开发我们这个人才的能力。 那另外呢，我们要讲一下，就是两家企业合并其实并不是因为我们遭遇了在中国市场有任何的问题，而是希望呢，我们通过合并之后能够继续领先于市场。其实呢，在这方面要充分的抓住我们的机遇的话，我们觉得人才将是我们继续的这个可以和其他的企业做到不一样的一个重要的一个资产。所以呢，这些最好的我们说这些本来最好的一些 DNA 我们会继续的保持下去。另外呢，再回到说当我们创造了这个 Wavemaker 这家公司来讲，我们还会有什么不一样的地方呢？首先，我们在开设或者说创设一家新的企业的时候，我们一定要看看机会在什么地方。然后呢，我们会看一下这个周围的环境，我们所有的技能，以及呢我们所属于的这个公司，就是 WPP 和群益这方面有什么样的一些机会，什么样的基础设施可以供我们去使用，可以供我们去进一步的开发。那我们可以看到呢，一个非常好的机会就是在社交媒体方面。其实呢，在过去的6个月，我们的这个社交媒体团队已经超过了这个30人。除此之外呢，我们也很好进一步的开发了我们的数字开发能力，我们的数字战略，我们的数字商业能力的团队也进一步的这个得到了加强，从而能够更好的为我们的客户呢提供服务，然后能够帮助他们带来一些新的变革。所以呢，其实我们可以看到，现在如果说机会在哪里的话呢，我们会看到在我们的这个企业当中，我们有各种各样不同的非常多样化的这个媒介，而且呢，我们的what has increased from 1% to 10%?
That's our
media content, right?
Our content
我们
business.
的这个内容这一块业务呢，也是在短短的2年内呢，是从1%上升到了10%。所以这其实对我们新的企业来讲呢，就意味着很多新的机遇。我们的员工呢，有更多的角色可以承担，更多的能力可以发挥。然后呢，我们相信呢，我们的这个在这样的一个环境下，我们的 Paste 呢，它不仅仅是一个只是贴在墙上的这种价值观，而是每个人可以去相信，每个人是可以实现的。然后通过 Paste 这套行为准则，然后再抓住我们新的机遇呢，我想我们每个人都会能够有更好的成长。
想多问一句，比较好奇，就是Maxis 和 MDC 的员工在 Wavemaker 当中各占多少比例？
Well, I would like to know what is the percentage of Maxis employees as a percentage of the total, employee number of the new company, and what is the percentage of the previous NEC employees?
Yeah, I mean, proportion-wise, it remains around the same because our business is built around clients. We haven't lost any clients. In fact, we've gained clients. So if you figure this is, as we have been going through this process for 6 months, everybody who's come into the organisation, and I think there are there's generally turnover in our industry, as there is with most industries. So from the announcement here in June to 6 months later, we've hired probably about 150 people. Because our business, not just some of it is replacements because obviously there is turnover, but then with new business wins and everything else these come in, these are all Wavemaker employees. So we don't get to a stage where today we just decide we are a media content technology business. This is an evolution. So even though the people have remained from MBC and Maxis, the integration has been a gradual process over that time. So we have already centralised all our specialist teams. So they are Wavemaker specialist teams. So that brings together the best people from content, from analytics, from insights, from data, from strategy, from the 2 agencies, and they work as a single unit, and that's been the case for several months. So, and they support all the different business units. So whereas the total proportion remains the same, I think the distribution of staff in terms of the roles they fulfil, in terms of their responsibilities, in terms of what our expectation is of what they do, has changed quite dramatically. So I think that's where the biggest change is. I think the overall, in terms of how we develop, we've had to have a Wavemaker mindset from a long time ago. This isn't something that we've tried to do overnight.
那其实呢，说到这个比例啊，就是两家企业这个员工的比例呢，它其实基本上来讲和原来是差不多的。那因为呢，我们的所有的业务呢都是基于我们客户的，所以在这个6个月的过程当中，我们并没有失去任何的老的客户，反而呢我们是获得了新的客户。所以你可以想象，就是基本上这个比例不会有太大的一个变化。当然了，我们在整个的这个过去的6个月当中，我们首先呢要知道，就是会有市场上正常的一个员工的周转，这是不仅我们的行业，其他行业都是这样。但是从6月份宣布到现在，我们其实整个新的公司它雇佣的人数又新增了这个差不多是150名左右。所以呢，一方面这些新进来的人呢会有一些旧员工的更替，另一方面呢是因为我们有新的业务之后呢，我们也需要这个雇佣新的员工。所以不管怎么样，你过去是属于哪家公司，或者我们新雇佣的员工，全部都是属于我们新的员工。新的这个公司就是 Wavemaker 他们的这样一些这也都是属于我们新公司的员工。那并不是说我们是一夜之间说我们要成立一家新的公司，然后呢它是做这个媒介传播、内容营销和科技革命，不是的。这其实本来就是一个长期在进行一个演进和变化的一个过程。所以呢，我们这样一个融合也是发生在很长的一段时间内的。比如说我们现在已经全部完成了我们所谓的这个 specialist team， 就是我们专家的这个专业人士的这个团队。那么在这个团队当中呢，有我们的内容啊、战略啊、洞察啊、数字啊等等各方面的员工，把它整合在一起、融合在一起之后，为我们各个 BU 就是业务部门的单位提供这个很好的一个支持。所以呢，正如我刚才所讲的，两家公司的这个员工的比例并没有太大的一个变化。但是呢，他们到了新公司之后，我们会对他们有这个新的角色的分工啊，会对他们有些新的这个期望啊等等，这方面可能会发生一些很大的变化，也可以说是最大的一些变化。但是不管怎么样，所有的人现在在这家新的企业当中，一定要有 Wavemaker 的这种思维的方式，我们的这个价值观，这个呢是在非常长的一段时间内一个演化的过程。
所以会有中文名字吗
？Do you have a Chinese name for Wavemaker?
This is interesting. So the name was announced in September. The English name, Wavemaker. Okay. So, as is often the case with when you have a global announcement like that, they don't always consider very complicated markets like China. The naming process in China is very important, very complicated. We have Cantonese speaking offices, we have Taiwan office, we have a China office, we have so we are we've gone through a process of firstly deciding how we want the name to be. Do we want it to be a phonetic representation? Do you want it to be based around the business? Do you want it to be an emotional sort of? So all of these criteria have to go in, and one person's interpretation of character can be slightly different to another's. So we've gone through this process. We have a shortlist. We are very happy with three routes to go. Now we are in the middle of a legal process. As you know, it takes 6 months to even know whether we can use the name. So even though we have them in hand, it's impossible to talk about them now for trademark reasons. But yes, it is a long process here, but a very important one, and we have to go through the full legal process before we can actually do anything.
谢谢啊，就是这个问题啊，关于中文名字，你知道，就是我们9月份才刚刚宣布 Wavemaker 这个英文名字嘛，然后全球的话，我们总部会宣布英文名字的时候，但是他们经常不太会考虑那些文字语言非常复杂的市场，包括像中文市场。那中国字是非常复杂，同时也是，但是中文的名字又非常的重要，而且你考虑到我们中国有讲广东话，有讲那个闽南的台湾普通话，也有讲这个大陆的普通话，所以这个过程就更加的复杂。一开始的时候呢，我们有一个遴选的过程，这个遴选过程它说非常复杂，因为你想名字的时候，你要考虑到底是走那个音译，就是走声音，按照声音走的，还是按照我们业务走的，还是要考虑到一些情绪上的这个原因，所以整个过程他说非常的烦。但是呢，最后还有人这个出来一些中文，那关于某个字，可能每个地方的理解又不一样。但是这个遴选的过程呢已经结束了，然后他说我们已经有一个比较短的一个清单，上面有几个名字，但是接下来呢要走法律程序，又很复杂，要差不多6个月的时间，因为中国的法律程序的话，你就是要6个月之后你才能知道你能不能用这个中文的名字，因为呢你要看有没有违反这个商标法，或者说你商标法有没有跟其他人重名。所以尽管我们现在可能已经有了一个比较短的 shortlist， 就是一个备用了这个名字，但还是不能告诉你，因为有法律上的原因，但我们还是得等。
然后我想问一下，就是作为新的 Wavemaker 的大中华区的 CEO， 关于明年公司或者集团层面给予他的一些期望是怎样的？
Wow, Gordon, you are the CEO of Greater China Wavemaker. So I would like to know next year, what will the group what is the expectation on you by the group?
More growth, more profit, more revenue. Like same with every CEO everywhere, right? This is quite normal. I think because this is quite a bold move. So if you understand structurally, there is traditionally we had a regional team, which we have disbanded. So there is no now regional sort of governance, which of course for like a market the size of China makes absolute sense because the scale. We are the number 3 market for Wavemaker globally. We are, it is, and it is a very unique market. There is realistically very little that people from outside of the China market can support with, because here knowledge of this market, knowledge of how clients operate, knowledge of how the market operates, knowledge of how to get things done here is very different to other markets. So so we have to build capability on a local level. Okay? So we've been very good at doing that on a local level, and so the way we have structured now, firstly, the Greater China model offer more support to Taiwan and to Hong Kong. These are smaller markets, and pretty much single city markets. The ability for them to build, let's say, the same level of strategic and high level business resource as a market scale of China is unlikely. But given we have so many clients that cover the different that are shared clients, the ability to support each other and develop business that way is is something that we feel will add to our overall business. I think also you look at the potential within South China. Again, the way that is developing, you look at the business growth in Shenzhen particularly, and you look at the opportunities that are developing there in terms of new economy. We think that is having a more connected business with Hong Kong will give us a lot of opportunity within that region as well. And I think that is something that most agencies have missed out on, because it is quite a local economy. A huge economy, it's like the size of Europe, but it is a huge potential area which is somewhat untapped as new business grows and as new sort of new businesses arise. So I think this is, from a Greater China perspective, how I think we can grow the business.
Okay, next question.
Can I just do the translation?
忍不住了。
那首先呢，他说就是对所有的公司的 CEO 来讲，其实期待值都是一样的，更多的增长，更多的业务，更多的利润。但是呢，你可以看到现在两家公司合并之后，这其实是一个非常大胆的一个行为啊。所以呢，传统上来讲，就是我们公司的它的分的架构呢是按照全球来讲是按照不同的区域来分的。但现在呢，再把中国并入任何一个区域，他说其实是没有任何意义的，也不会再这样做，因为呢，中国本身就是一个非常大的一个市场，它其实呢已经占到我们 global 全球来讲 Wavemaker 的一个第3大的市场，而且中国市场是非常非常独特的，没有其他的中国以外的团队可以对我们中国市场或者说大中华市场提供任何相关的这个支持，因为你没有关于中国市场的这个洞见，也没有这种执行能力的话，其实是很难来支持我们中国市场是截然不同的。所以呢，我们在大中华区来讲，一直是在建设我们本地的能力，当然在这方面做的也是非常好。所以你如果看一下我们现在的结构的话，我们就是一个大中华区的一个结构。这样子的话呢，可以更好的对一些比较小的市场，相当于单一城市的这些市场，比如说台湾啊、香港，给予更好的支持。因为呢，你说你要期待像台湾、香港这样的小的地方，然后建立起和我们整个大中华区一样的战略，有一样的资源，这是不可能的，也是不现实的。那么我们现在呢，就可以更好的通过大中华区的建设和台湾、香港这些地方共享我们的这个资源，同时呢，也是相互的给予支持。另外呢，他说反过来讲啊，其实也是一样的，因为我们可以看到现在在华南地区，特别是在深圳地区，它的这个市场是非常非常大的。因为呢，深圳它的新 经济呢在快速的发展。那么如果我们在整个大中华区当中能够更好的跟香港这边连接起来的话，其实我们可以更好的进入到华南，特别是深圳这一块的业务。那么他说呢，其实这个机会是很多其他的这个广告公司现在还没有看到的，但是呢，深圳这一块的业务其实是非常大的，可相当于一些欧洲重要的这个国家，所以我们其实在一个大中华区当中就可以更好的来一个运筹帷幄。
然后下一个问题是关于明年，就是我们知道，就是格劳丹迪是有2010世界杯的一些很丰富的一些营销经验的，他曾经做过世界杯的 Wild
你说
Future。
这个 FIFA 的世界杯，
然后明年刚好也是世界杯年，所以也很好奇，现在整合了新的公司，其实它的内容跟服务能力是更加多元化、更加丰富的。那么明年针对世界杯这一块，是不是已经有一些想法，或者说已经跟客户谈一些关于明年世界杯的一项合作了？
Oh, next question is about the FIFA World Cup next year. I know that you have got a lot of experience concerning the FIFA World Cup in 2010, and next year is another FIFA year. So now that you've got a new company with more diverse and more content and service capability, so do you have any plans with your clients to to take advantage of the FIFA opportunity next year?
I think this is. We've worked a lot in sport, and we've worked a lot, with these sort of events. I think it's an important thing for us to leverage. I think particularly with the very clear direction in terms of the support for football within China as a whole. The ambition that the country has in football, still very unrealised, given the poor performance of the national team. But this is a very long-term programme, I think, for the country. Now, that means a lot of brands are very, very interested in it. Some brands which historically may not have been interested in football have become very interested in football, and at a top level, so you see the amount of investment that's going on. But I think what I am finding interesting in some of the areas that I think we will work closer with is more the grassroots development of football. I think there is a lot more engagement to be had, through an education system, through the way that we develop coaching, how we can bring brands into that area. In terms of schools, in terms of clubs, in terms of driving fitness, driving participation in sport. I think this for me is more the longer term way that we will embrace football for our clients. The FIFA World Cup, of course, we have plenty of clients who want to spend a lot of money, build a presence in this, but this is a very costly way, and it is a very it's a very quick way to spend a lot of money. Now, so for us, the key is whether there is an ROI, a return on investment that comes with spending money in this area. We wouldn't advise all clients to do it, because there has to be a tangible benefit at the end of this, or a longer term benefit for brands. So we are working with lots of clients at the moment in terms of understanding what the real brand desire is, taking away just the emotional element of wanting to be involved in the World Cup, and more looking at what the hard numbers are in terms of what this will actually deliver for us. So I think this is something we're working on with several brands at the moment, and I think if I go back to the whole rationale for our company, it's about growing brands. It's about growing brands and building, the infrastructure of brands for the long term. Engaging consumers, in a long-term and valuable way for our clients. The FIFA World Cup may fit into that, but probably for most brands it won't, because it isn't the right thing to be doing.
谢谢这个问题啊。其实我们公司呢，在这个体育和体育营销方面确实非常的有经验。那另外呢，我们也可以看到，确实呢，我们也要抓住像这个世界杯这样一些机会。特别是呢，我们讲到这个足球啊，现在在中国足球发展的方向是非常清晰的，就是从上至下呢，对于足球运动都有极大的一个支持。另外呢，中国我觉得这个中国男足吧，可以说在足球方面还是非常雄心勃勃的。但是呢，这样一些目标现在呢， 可能还没有实现。一方面呢，它是因为中国国家队的这个表现实在是不尽如人意啊，所以呢，确实是需要一个长期的一个过程。但是呢，他说，那现在中国来讲，确实有很多品牌对足球很感兴趣，包括历史上一些对足球并没有那么感兴趣的这个品牌呢，现在确实也是表现了对足球极大的一个兴趣。那特别是我们看到在比较高层的层次呢，对足球的投资也是非常多的。那说到我们这家公司比较感兴趣的，其实先不说世界杯吧，我们更感兴趣的是足球作为一项运动来讲，它在草根或者是在社区层面的一个发展。所以我们长期想做的呢，是比如说和教育界和学界开展合作，然后呢，我们可以带一些品牌啊，带一些俱乐部，甚至带一些这个教练过去，跟很多学校合作。然后我们更想做的呢，是一些比如说像大众健身啊，或者说是这个更多的人参与到体育、参与到足球当中来的这些活动。那么再回到您问的这个具体的 FIFA， 就是世界杯的这个问题。当然，我们有很多的客户，他是很感兴趣，他们也愿意呢花很多的钱，然后希望能够比如说在世界杯的这个比赛上打个广告啊，这样增加自己的曝光度。但是呢，他说其实这种挥金如土，可以说是挥金如土的这种比较豪的做法呢，其实有的时候并不一定是最好的一个做法。我们有自己的看待问题的一个角度，就是我们会特别关注 ROI， 就是这个投资的回报。所以呢，并不是说我们不会建议我们的客户就是拼命的打广告，然后来增加你的曝光度，因为我们一定会关注的是，如果你去参与世界杯的话，你的这个可见的好处是在哪里？你的常见的这个长远的好处是哪里？所以呢，我们会和这个品牌去谈说，如果你要做决定的话呢，当然你要看这个你想要什么，然后呢，在你决定的过程当中，要把这些情绪性的东西要剔除，就是不要去考虑我就是为了参加而参加，而是要看一些长期的这样一些数字、一些结果。所以我们现在确实是和几个品牌有在谈，但是呢，这再回到我们的这个新的公司 Wavemaker 它的一个初衷啊，就是帮助所有的品牌呢，我们的客户的品牌呢能够增长，然后建立一些很好的这个有利于品牌长期增长的这样一些基础设施。另外呢，也是充分的有意义的和长期的和我们的这个消费者建立很好的关系。所以，当然 FIFA 是一个很好的机会，但是它并不是适用于所有的品牌的。
能问一个私人问题吗？他是哪个球队的球迷？
Well, can I ask you a more kind of personal question? Which team do you like the best?
Chelsea.
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 So I have a question about that. As I know that you already have more than 20 years media and marketing industry experiences across the UK and China, and also
I look so young as well, right?
So I'm wondering what are your understandings on these industries in China and other countries, and also your understanding on the markets of China and other countries, like the differences and the shortcomings and the advantages of China market.
Yeah, I mean, this is like now 9 years in China, and it's I think the biggest thing here. Well, there's a few things. One, the scale of this market is unlike anywhere else. In terms of the not just in terms of what you can do, but the opportunity as well. The second thing, which is unlike anywhere else in the world, is the pace that this moves at. This market is so fast. I mean, even when I got here, it was. The reality was that you work 1 year in China, that's like working 3 years somewhere else. And I think that is still the case here. So you have the pace at which you work, and coming from a more strategic background, I was very used to spending a lot of time thinking about things, and then you spend less time doing things. Here you spend so much time doing things, and your thinking has to be done while you're doing. It's a very, very different way of operating, and you don't have the luxury of saying, right, we've done one campaign, now we're going to analyse this for like a few months, we'll put this into research. Impossible, because presence here and activity is more important than perfection, and that has been the case, and that is how brands grow market share. So that to me is something that continues to be something that is very different to any other market. The meetings I go to in New York, the meetings I go to in London, they all think they're so fast and and they're working at such a high pace. It is nothing like this. It really is still so quick. And the other element is, still related to pace, is the pace of change here is phenomenal. In terms of driven by technology, driven by the way people communicate, with each other, with brands, with with media platforms. This has completely changed the way that the landscape looks here, and because it has been allowed to develop, pretty much on its own, the aspects are completely unique, and the opportunity for new people to come in and develop new ways of communicating, develop new ways of developing information, of sharing things, of of buying things. This is unlike anywhere else. And we have a market where every a new player can come in, a new person come in. You have to constantly adapt. You have to constantly change what you do. You have to constantly understand the big macro trends in the economy, and also the micro trends of how people are actually doing things. What is driving people's consumption and the way they communicate, the way they take in information, the way they purchase products. So this is something which has been allowed to develop very locally and at such high pace. And I think this is something that will continue to define this market relative to the rest of the world.
谢谢。那这个问题呢，就是我们Gordon其实在媒介和营销传播这方面已经有差不多20多年的这个从业的经验。那么就从他自己的经验来讲，中国市场和其他地方的市场，以及中国的这个行业和其他地方行业有什么不一样？他说呢，其实首先他自己觉得自己看上去非常的年轻啊，但是呢，他在中国已经有这个9年的一个从业的经验，所以中国市场和其他市场几个不一样的地方。第一呢，就是我们的规模非常的大，这个是其他的市场可能难以企及的。那么这个规模呢，是指机会的规模以及你可以做的事情的规模都是非常大的。第二呢，就是这个在中国，他说做事情的速度实在是太快了，这个市场啊，每天都是在非常非常快的这个在运营着。他说他第一次来中国的时候，人家跟他讲说，中国待1年等于其他地方待3年，但是他说9年之后，他发现还是这样，这个中国1年，其他地方就可以待3年。然后呢，他说他自己本人原来其实是更多的是在战略层面有这样一个背景，所以呢，他以前的习惯呢就是想很多，做的比较少。但是呢，在这里他发现要先做，然后再想，甚至呢，有的时候你得这个边做边想，不能够先想再做。所以呢，这个跟其他的地方就截然不同。他说，在中国你是不可以说我做一个宣传，或者在我做一个宣传，在一个活动之前，我先要做很多的分析啊、研究啊，这是没有这个时间去等的。所以呢，我们在中国的一个很多品牌习惯的一个方式就是，不管怎么样，你先把活动给做起来，没有这个所谓的完美主义啊，你要想了半天，把这个事情活动呢想得非常完美，然后才去做，这是不对的，这个是不行的，和其他的市场是不一样的。所以呢，他说有很多人讲，这个纽约很快啊，伦敦快，但是他觉得再快也及不上我们这个中国快。还有呢，还有一个不一样的地方，就是我们发生变化的这个速度啊，实在是太大了。因为呢，现在在中国的市场上，我们可以看到很多新的技术会出现，然后人和人沟通的方式，人和品牌之间，然后呢，人和这个媒介的平台之间的沟通的方式都是截然不同的。所以中国的市场，他说有点像人家说就是自成一体的这一套市场，就任何人都可以进来，然后任何人呢都可以这个有新的沟通的方式，有新的信息传播出来，然后呢有新的这样一个这个购买的决定。所以在这个市场上呢，谁都可以进来。那么我们作为一家公司来讲呢，就需要不断的适应，不断的去变化，然后不断的呢去了解这些新的趋势和新的潮流，包括我们这个消费者方面的一些新的趋势、新的洞察、新的传播的这样一些方式。所以呢，在中国市场，一方面它是非常非常本地化的，有很多自己的特点，而另一方面呢，这个速度也是非常快的。
Jen O'Brien.
Okay.
I have a follow-up question. So, do you think that we need to slow down a little bit and to think more?
I think no. What is interesting? I think we work with a lot of local brands. Now they are all fantastic performance brands. And by performance, I mean they're really good at selling products. Really very very good. But probably the piece that is missing is how you build a brand while you are selling products. So this is an aspect of I don't think we can ever slow down. Because the pressure is too high. Like the pressure to maintain sales, to maintain market share, that's never going to go away. You can't take a holiday from that. Same for me in this business. I can't say, I'm building a new company. I'll just take a holiday this year. We can just I don't have to grow this year. We're just it's impossible to do that. But you have to add a layer of what does long-term growth look like? What does brand growth look like? And I think that is part of what we're doing, understanding the longer-term benefit of of media, content, technology, how we can help brands grow, indefinitely in the longer term. How do we get people to love brands, not just the products that they produce? Because, products are fleeting. There was a Forbes front page which was circulated 2 weeks ago, which was, the cover picture was from Nokia, saying, can anyone ever catch Nokia? 10 billion phone sales. And this is like 10 years ago, and this is how, product can move. Product can always be superseded. That's why you build brands. So I think this is something we have to do while we are, continuing with performance. Performance is never going to go away. We're always going to have to sell more. Always going to have to compete more in sales. But that's a layer that we all definitely add on.
这个就先
最短是
Okay.
直接问时间有多紧张
You talk about the pressure from vendors, right? And like Google, Facebook, and also a lot of challenges like media contract transparency. So how do Wavemaker face the challenge in the future, and how do you solve the media transparency or all those problems?
I mean, that is a tough industry question. If you look at the level of trust that's been eroded in markets around the world, it's it is significant. I think it is our responsibility, and us as Wavemaker, our responsibility isn't just to our clients. Our responsibility is to our industry. And I think it's a key part of what we do to ensure that we develop a level of trust, that we develop a level of transparency. Now, particularly when it comes to digital trading, digital supply channels, I think this is something that Group M have taken great leadership in terms of understanding, and understanding and acting on what is viewability, what is how do we combat ad fraud, how do we make sure that clients are getting what they are paying for. In this day and age, things are very trackable, things are very monitorable, and you can understand what things a lot better than you used to in terms of media and investment. Now we have a challenge here in terms of third-party tracking. We have a challenge here in terms of walled gardens and ecosystems, and this is not something that I can solve on my own or Wavemaker can solve on our own, but this is an industry push. If you look at the push towards transparency in other markets, that has involved the entire industry, all agencies, all clients, pushing vendors to make sure there is a transparency and there is an ability to track and monitor how media spend works. I think we are on that path here. I think that will happen. It's a slow process, but really this is one of the things that everyone has to work together. It's very easy to say there's no transparency and there's no trust, but likewise, we have to work with our clients, and clients have to back us in saying this is what needs to happen for the good of the industry and to create more transparency. It's it will happen. It's a slow process, but I think this is if I look at the examples from other markets, that is the path that they've all undertaken, and I think this is something that will continue to happen here.
So what about the challenges from those technology companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those how do you face the challenges of that?
I think to us, we have a and I'm going to talk very much from a China perspective. We have some very strong technology companies, dominant technology companies, who all have fantastic levels of data. They have fantastic levels of data within their ecosystems. And I think in the same, if you transpose this to a Google or a Facebook, these are fine platforms that that we want to use, and we want to activate audiences within that. You mentioned our Wavemaker Momentum. I think this is a major part of how we understand customer journeys, how we understand how customers behave in all of these different digital ecosystems. So we understand what influences them, what part of the purchase journey they are working on, and what are the touch points and influences and the messages that will work for those people as they go through this journey. That might be in an Ali ecosystem, that might be within Baidu, that might be within Tencent, or it could be in any of the verticals that we use or anything else. Now, identifying those touch points, identifying how that works. We are in a fantastic position with M Platform, which launched earlier this year. This is a fantastic platform with a huge amount of information that as we have built Wavemaker, we have integrated our Momentum survey, which is the biggest customer journey survey and database and insight pool anywhere in the world. Over 350,000 purchase journeys within our data and insight pool. So we have this. It is integrated into M Platform. So not only can we identify people, understand the touch points, understand what they are doing, we can then take these IDs into M Platform, into this Group M system, and we can build discrete audiences. We can build lookalikes. We can build really highly sophisticated targeting and audience profiles, and activate against them. Across the network. We are breaking into BAT as well. Currently, we are using Alibaba, so we can activate within these platforms, and we will activate across all of these platforms. So to us, the advantage is enormous. And we're not trying to work against them. We're trying to work with them. And I think us understanding that everyone has a role to play, and understanding what that role is. That is our purpose. That is what we will do, and I think that's what gives us an advantage, in a market that is so dominated by these technology companies.
时间关系，我们最后一个问题好吗？
Okay. So, Gordon, you mentioned that your social media team is growing, and what kind of service they provide, and what's your point of view on China's social media landscape?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is totally unique, and and social, to me, it's the definition is a very difficult one, because it impregnates absolutely everything that that goes on. So to us, I think where we started, to me, social was much more about generating insights and understanding consumers. The traditional models of research and understanding consumers make no sense anymore. Your customers are talking about you right now online. You don't need to go into a research survey. You just need to go online and understand what the sentiment is about brands, what the sentiment is, how they react to it. So understanding this and harnessing this, I think, is a core part of our strategic responsibility to our clients, and it's a core part of how we develop plans and how we develop our solutions for clients. So this is one part of it. I think the second part of it is understanding what role social plays and the different social channels play across an entire purchase journey. What are the communications that we need to use? How do we need to use it? What is the messaging? What time of day? And and being able to analyze that and track that, and be able to serve advertising, serve right messaging at these points. So this is this is very much the role of social within our organisation. Now, out of that and out of that understanding, I think we can build other services, and this is what we are doing. So, social strategy, social commerce strategy. You sell through social. This is this is quite unique still. That social platforms are places people go. They are shopping areas. They are community areas, and this is a legitimate form of selling. Selling through products, selling through ideas, and delivering information. So, understanding how e-commerce plays a role, and and how social plays a role in e-commerce, is probably the biggest thing that we are doing now. I think having strategists who understand social commerce gives us a distinct advantage. I think so. What we have done, as well as having a social team with a capability that not only understands the marketplace, understands what consumers are talking about, can actually build a strategy to meet that, and develop content to fill that. We have an executive creative director, who's solely focused on social. We have copywriters who are just constantly churning out copy. So I think this is a very clear development for us, in terms of, if you understand it, if you can then harness it and execute against it, this is how we will develop our social business.
Cool.
谢谢大家。他一会儿还要去有个仪式。
节目啊。
Go.
Okay, so apart from Wavemaker, we've seen there's like a trend of the integration of media agencies, right? So why do you think it happened, and like how do you see this trend?
I think there is for us. I think that the need is in market, and if you can take agencies with skill sets, and with capability in different areas, and build a stronger agency out of it, then this makes absolute sense. The trend has been to more specialist agencies, over the last few years. Here you can have an e-commerce agency, you can have a social agency, you can have a search agency. You end up with 25 agencies. Now, those agencies are very, very good in a very narrow field. For us, consolidation of agencies and capabilities, not necessarily to execute in everything. I'm never going to say we are the best at every single thing. That's impossible for any agency to say. However, I can be the best at integrating every single part of what you do, because I have people who understand an entire journey. I have people who understand what the role of search is, what the role of content is, what the role of social is, what the role of every single aspect of where you are spending your marketing money and where you're investing your money. So to me, that has to be done at scale, and that is why you will see probably more convergence into this, because you have to be able to answer these questions. You can't go to a meeting and ask 25 people to answer a question. You go to a meeting, if you're a CEO, if you're a CFO, if you're a CMO, they don't want to ask 25 people the same question, and then ask them what the role is of this within their whole holistic communications. And that is the reason we have been brought together, to be able to answer that question. So if a CEO asks me, right, what is the contribution to this? Why am I spending so much money on this? Every client asks me, how much money should I be spending on WeChat? If you ask just an agency who only deals in WeChat, how can they answer you? Impossible, right? If you ask an agency who deals on every single platform, deals on everything, and looks at this picture and going, right, this is your unique customer, this is your customer here, this is what they do on WeChat, this is what they do on Weibo, this is what, these are the horizontals that they go to, these are the verticals they go to, this is how they behave. Right, I can actually tell you what the influence then is of WeChat. I can tell you whether that's the right amount of money, not the right amount of money. I can tell you, what you should be doing on that platform. And I think that's why you'll probably see more things like this as we consolidate, as we actually answer the big questions that clients have.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I've got to go and dance with lions. Sorry.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you so much.
大家还有什么问题的话，也可以后续发过来。
先去抓点时间了。Sorry.
Yeah. Go through first of all.
I will do that. Thank you all. Bye bye.